Cool, so this question is it risky to train in my back garden on uneven surfaces? Yes. Now, I'm going to give you a better answer than that. Yeah, it's not ideal, but what sort of training are you doing? You know, if you're lucky enough to, if you're doing sort of like a bodybuilding style training, then it's probably not going to affect it too much. And also you could probably do a decent amount of at least the upper body portions seated. If you're doing big compound lifts though, more like powerlifting or trying to do like any sort of Olympic weightlifting, it's probably a no-go. I mean, if you've got a relatively flat piece of land that you can do squats on and deadlifts, maybe, but it's an uneven surface, so you know, just the tactile contact that we have through the ground is obviously affected by that. So I would err on the side of caution and just maybe have a look at what your training is before making a judgment call as to whether training on uneven ground is going to be.
Okay, so the question I was asked is how do you hook grip and should it hurt? So to hook grip, what we're going to try and do is pretend this is the barbell here. You're going to be wrapping your thumb around it and then your fingers go over the top. Okay, so you'd want both hands over hand. Okay, should hook grip hurt? The long and short of it is it's going to start to hurt while you're getting used to it. Okay, you've just sort of got to go through that sort of pain threshold. It shouldn't be excruciatingly painful. It should just hurt slightly because you're not used to that position. But you've just sort of got to get used to that. And after a few times of doing it, it'll be absolutely fine.
Will strength training improve my 100 metre and 200 metre sprint times? Right. Yes and no. So strength is going to help develop your sprint capabilities, especially doing stuff like heavy squats, stuff like that. That overall strength will help, but it isn't necessarily the key. And I think with sprinting, you can be the strongest person in the world, but it all depends on how long it takes you to access that power. So although absolute strength, i.e. big squats, is great, the more important is the rate of force development, so how quick you're going to produce that force that you actually have on tap. So anything like, that's when stuff like pause squats will come in quite well, any sort of like box jumps or ballistic exercises, broad jumps, single leg broad jumps, anything with a really focused and fast concentric would be really good. So i.e. fast trap bar deadlifts, because it's keeping you in a more natural position. Like I said, those fast concentric squats, split squats, stuff like that.
My question is, how does foam rolling work? So there is a lot of conflicting information online about foam rolling. It's also known as self-myofascial release. What it doesn't do is it doesn't break down the scar tissue or the fascia. You'd need 2,100 psi to actually do that, which is far greater than the human physiological range. So it's not going to do that. What it does do is help increase blood flow. It helps relieve tension. So it's really good to do it before exercise as opposed to after exercise. It has been proven to increase temporarily range of mobility as well, so it's not a permanent thing, but if you do it before exercise, you will notice that your range of mobility does get a lot better. So it's really useful to do beforehand.
What upper back movement isometrically is the best without gym equipment? So I'm just going to split isometrics into two for the purposes of this video. We'll go with yielding and overcoming isometrics. A yielding isometric is basically like a pause, for example, like at the bottom of a squat where you pause. That would be a yielding isometric. And an overcoming isometric would be where you're either pushing or pulling against an immovable object. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to go with an overcoming isometric and give you an example there. So what you can do is you can grab like a really long beach towel, bath towel, whatever you've got, sit down on the floor with your legs out straight in front of you and hook the towel behind your feet so you can pull onto it. And then what you can do from there, if the towel's long enough, is you can basically pull into a face pull motion. And basically what you're doing is you're pulling as hard as you can. Obviously your feet in the towel are resisting, they're not going anywhere. And that's your overcoming isometric. And it's going to mimic the same kind of movement as a face pull. What you can also do as well is another yielding isometric by, if you have like a towel or something, or a rucksack or a kettlebell or something, an odd object, what you can do is you can upright row it, or you can do a bent over face pull and still hit your upper back work there, and you can just hold it at the top position, and that'll be an isometric for upper back development.